career. How do you think it's going?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I must be doing something right, and you know, it's pretty easy when you got great balls being thrown by Jackson Arnold and doing Gabriel, and the line's blocking beautifully, so they got all the time in the world. So I mean, that all contributes. So I'm just grateful to be a part of this team.
What's the biggest difference now from what you're doing now versus a year ago and getting you on the field?
Just being healthy. I mean, it's really the only difference I've seen is just growing as a football player. That comes with the game. So.
You seem to be getting open though. I mean, your route running has improved so much. Would you say?
Yes, sir. I mean, like I said, it's part of the game. You're going to get better when you're practicing. So I'm just working on my craft every day. And it's easy when you got coaches like Coach Jones. I mean, he's going to get the best out of us every practice. So that's what we're looking for.
You like those deep balls, I'm sure, but what about that short one where they design a play for bring you off the kind of the edge there and across the formation? How much fun is that?
I'm just glad I got that play because it could have been me or Jalil. So. I mean, the scheme was perfect, worked like a charm, and I had Drake Stoops and Jay Gibb blocking for me, and they blocked it up perfectly. Just had to finish the job.
I think your last year was some of the least football you've played in a long time. Last fall.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you feel that time?
You said how do I feel?
How do you feel that time with presumably more free time than you would have had if you were healthy and playing?
You said how do I feel with that free time?
How did you feel?
How did you fill it up?
I'm sorry, I'm not.
You're fine.
That's my bad. I'm sorry. Just right after practice, I'm fried right now.
Well, how frustrating was the health aspect of last year for you?
I mean, of course, it was frustrating, but I mean, I've said it 1,000 times. The support staff here is great, and they made sure my head was high, made sure I stayed the course, and without them, I wouldn't be here right now.
Did you learn anything from what your brother went through with all of that?
Of course.
And
I mean,
what were the biggest takeaways from being around him and what he went through?
I mean, I always heard from my parents that when those injuries happened, he was down, and first couple of days, were the hardest. But every time I saw him as a kid, he had his head up high, he was laughing, joking, and he used comedy as one of the things, like one of the buffers. And I never saw him in a bad mood, so I think that helped me as growing up as a kid. And then when I went through it myself, just asking him for advice, he just always said the same things, just find other ways to get better and just keep your head high.
Nick, how excited are you guys to come home after being on the road, and especially having to deal with a real hostile environment this
I mean, I just love being in the Palace, so I'm excited for this home game. I mean, I think we only got like 3 or 4 left, so I'm gonna cherish every moment.
How much more difficult is it to communicate offensively when you got 40,000 people yelling at the top of their lungs like that?
I mean, we do a lot of nonverbal communication, so I would say it's not too big of a change, but it's definitely a factor. But Coach BB gets us right. Coach Levy gets us right by playing, loud music when we're practicing during the week, so that helps a lot.
You mentioned finding other ways to get better. How do you approach that? What do you do?
Film mainly, watching the receivers in front of me. Working on my ball skills, still catch some jugs, even if I'm not running routes on the field. So that was a big part of my game.
What do you see out of Iowa State?
Being at the Tulsa game, he was at Cincinnati too, right?
Yes, sir, he was, and my middle brother.
Did you know he was coming, and what was that like to have that support from him from so far away?
Yeah, they texted me that they were coming, and every time I have some of my family in the stands, it's a sweet moment. So I just love them seeing me do my thing.
Do you get to hang out with them at all?
A little bit, after the game around the buses, but that's it.
What do you see from Iowa State? They've had a traditional defense, what they do in the secondary and stuff. What do you see out of them?
I mean, they have a solid defense. They've always had a solid defense. One of the toughest ones we've had to face for the past years. And
would your family describe you? What are you in the family?
I'm more of the. I like to duck off sometimes, do my own thing. If you ask my mom, when my brothers went to college, I kind of had the whole upstairs to myself, so they barely saw me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, what were you doing, hiding out up there?
Watching film, playing video games, sleeping, eating snacks. Love food, so that's what I was doing.
Did your brother just come ready to try to keep your head up while you went to
Oh yeah, of course. Every chance he got, just trying to see the brighter things, see the brighter side of things.
How helpful was that, just to have that kind of affirmation?
It's great. I mean, if you think about it, not having that and having that, you'd much rather have that when you're going through something like that. So, really appreciate that from them.
Within your family, are your brothers more competitive or your parents? I've heard they're pretty competitive too.
I mean, we get it from our parents, so I don't know. I think it's pretty much all the same. But yeah, if you get them riled up, they're gonna have a a few choice words. So
What's when y'all are together? What's some of the most competitive times?
I remember we agreed. I think we still have the paper. We signed the paper that said we would all do like a Olympic competition when we got old enough. I think it's coming up soon, actually. We're gonna do a bunch of different sports like track, tennis. My mom loves tennis, so we're gonna do tennis.